Hey guys, it's Maymay, and check out this cute little door card, and it's literally just the size of that little door. It opens like that, and it's a Christmas card. I love it. Now I want to see if you recognize something. Do you recognize any of these shapes? That's right. They come from my stitched shape stamp set. Now this is not the Christmas one. We have a Christmas stitch shapes. Wow, those are so hard to say. But then we have this one as well. And this has been in the back of my mind for the longest time of, will this work? Well, I played with it yesterday and found out that it would. Now this is my very first one I ever made, and there's a couple changes I'm going to make to this one, but I wanted to show you both of them. So this is the first one. Now let's make a new one. So I want to talk to you about dimensions of paper first. This is my card base, okay? This is not your standard size card, so your base is going to be a little different. The dimensions of this card base are 6 5/8 by 5 1/2. And remember, I'm building this around the stamp set, so the dimensions are not going to be perfect because we're working from the stamp out. Okay. So now I have two more pieces, a red piece and a black piece. The black piece is 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, and the red piece is 3 1/8 by 5 3/8. We got some 8s in there. Again, we're working from the stamp set out. So we're going to get to these in a minute. These are going to be what are useful on our door. And actually, if you notice, I only have one red mat here. I sent this photo to my friends Gareth and also my friend Laura and asked for some advice. And we're going to do both of the things they suggested. So you'll see, adding this extra mat was Laura's idea. So we'll see how it looks when it's done. I think she's right. I think it'll work. All right, now we need to do some stamping. I'm making my door red on red, and I think that looks cool. Like, I love a classic red door. So what I'm going to do is use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and this is the stamp that has the little curvy top. This is what I'm using as the top of my door panels. Now this is a perfect place to use up some scraps. If you've got some little scraps of red sticking around somewhere, maybe in your scrap drawer, use this for that. And if you're making a Christmas card with this, if you want all your Christmas cards to look like this, just go to town stamping and stamp them all at the same time, and then fussy cut all at the same time. The good thing is, like this one here would be super easy to trim with your paper trimmer, just your regular paper trimmer. And then the one here, you could trim all sides except the top and just have to trim the very top. Now, if you have a brother scan and cut, this is even easier because y'all know I love that dude, right? Okay, so this is all the panels I need for the door. I need 2 of the one with the frilly top and then 2 of the regular rectangles, and we'll fussy cut those. Let's go ahead and stamp the wreath real quick. Okay, so now we're going to do the wreath using that circle stitch shape from the stamp set. However, I want to cut the middle out in a circle, and I don't have a punch that is the right size in a regular circle. So this is like a buckle punch, so I'm just going to use it and use that outside edge as my circle. And then if I want to, I can have a buckle for my stash later. So I'm going to stick this guy in, and I'm going to go kind of all the way in so I know I have plenty of room for my stamp. So I'm just going to punch that out like that. And then you'll see what I mean. I'll remove this little buckle, and there's the circle that I needed. And that way, look in your stash, look in your punches and see, like, although this might not be exactly what I want, it cuts out exactly what I want. So think about that. Now, I suggest you do the center hole first and then ink up your stitched circle. And come on top of that. This is probably going to be crooked and my head might get in the way. I'm going to try to keep it from getting in the way. Just center that over the top of that circle. Now, I'm sure mine is not centered because I did not lean over it. I wanted you to be able to see. That ain't too shabby, though. So there is our wreath. Now we just need to fussy cut that out. Now, again, you can use your brother's scan and cut or just a pair of scissors. These are my fussy cutting scissors right here. And since the shape is so simple, it's easy enough to do. So I have all of those shapes cut out, and this is where I'm going to do the thing that Gareth recommended that I do. And Gareth said that I needed to distress ink it a little bit. So I'm going to take some vintage photo. This is what I love about crafty friends. If you ask them and they give you an opinion, just try it and see what they say. So I'm going to ink up these edges and give our door a little more of a distressed look. And I'll be able to compare these to each other so you can see which one you prefer and which one you want to make for your own Christmas cards. So I'm just running around the edges, and I'm going to distress all of these pieces, the wreath, the door panels, the door, the part that is the flat door itself. I'm not going to worry about inking the black panel because it's not going to show anyway. And then we'll have a nice distressed door. So there's one piece, and let's do the next. Now, before we move on to too much more assembly, I have a sentiment here that is from my stamp set called G's Teddy Bear Lane that says Merry Christmas, and it's a small little sentiment, and it fits perfect on a little piece like this. And this is the little sign that I hung off the door. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that and let that dry for a second, and then I'm going to distress it as well. I feel like if I'm going to distress one piece, I need to distress all of the pieces on the door to make it all match. So I'm just going to take some leftover ink and just get this little sign good and distressed. And this little sign, I just actually cut the size based on the stamp itself. So I had the little stamp and I thought that would make a perfect little sign, so that's what we did. So that'll just go onto a little black matte piece, which is laying here. You may not can see, but that'll be our little sign. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble my sign. And what I'm doing is taking a little bit of art glitter glue here, and I'm going to put this little sign onto a little black piece of paper that is the matte for it, so it'll look like it's a little matted sign. I'm going to let that dry for just a second, and we're going to poke some holes in it. And I'm using this little piercing tool that I absolutely love. I get asked about this a lot. This is available in my store, by the way, at maymaymadeit.com. I'm going to just poke a hole on either side of this. I like to kind of just drill it in until it will go in enough for me to kind of pick it up and then drill it in a little further. If you have a mouse pad, you could do this with the mouse pad. Just be real careful not to poke yourself. I'm really doing more twisting than I am pushing, but once I get it through there, it'll make the hole for me. Now, if you have a tiny little hole punch, that'll work perfect here. I just don't have one. So there's my little hole one side, and then I'm gonna do the other side. Now I'm putting some baker's twine through those little holes, and I'm using that same pick tool to help me get that started through there, and then just pulling it out the back so that'll feed it through. Don't worry about bending these corners. We'll straighten that out in a few minutes. Then you want to decide how long you want your little strap to be, and if you want to wait till you have the card assembled, you can, but I pretty much know that's about how I want mine. And then I'm going to just use some tape on the back to hold these in place. Just a little Scotch tape, just like that. And now our little sign is made. Now only one other thing I want to do, and I'll show you why. In my prototype, you can see my Scotch tape on the back of my sign, and I don't care for that. So here's what I decided I would do. Once it was made, I'd then take some more art glitter glue and sandwich this back in some more black, just so that's hidden. Now if you wanted to, you could just tie little knots on your baker's twine or what have you and not have it be taped in the back. But I just thought, I'm trying to be fast and easy, and if I'm going to make a bunch of these, I need it to be fast and easy. So do it like that, and then just fussy cut that out. So there's our little sign for the door. That will be perfect, and now we can start assembling the card. So I'm going to reach over here and get all of our goodies. All right, our little sign, this is our wreath. Here's all our little door panels, and we're ready to put it together. Now, we're going to need some dimension. Let me put some foam on the back of these. So I'm going to use foam on the back of all of these. I've already put some on the back of these guys. I put 2 pieces there, but I'm going to put some on the back of these as well. So a couple of pieces of dimensional foam. A little backer came off of that one. So I got foam on the back of those, and I'm going to put some on the back of the wreath as well. And I'm using these smaller pieces for the wreath. And I just put about 4 across from each other and then across from each other, top and bottom. Now you're going to be working on that door base, okay? And I worked with the top 2 pieces first. I wanted to make sure I had them where I wanted them to go at the top, and then I had a little room to play with the 2 at the bottom. I'm just going to do a little dry run and see how this works. And remember, I changed the dimensions on this card so I could get that other layer. So this one's going to look a little tighter. This door's going to look a little bit smaller at first, till we get it all finished. So that's how those will get stuck down. So I'm just going to peel the backers off and stick those down. Then the 2 bottom door panels. So there's the beginning of our door, and now we need to put our little wreath on. And I'm going to decorate the wreath afterwards, and there's so many options for decorating the wreath. You can use little stick-on bling. That's what I used the first time, or you can use little punches, or you may even have some little Christmas ornament pieces. Anything you have in your stash, you can decorate your little wreath with. I'm just going to stick it about right here, and then another punch. I love this punch. This is my Martha Stewart bow punch. I just love this little dude, and I'm going to punch it from some glitter paper. So here's a scrap of paper, and this is what I'm going to use for my punch or for my bow. Get that guy out of there. And he is ready to go on top. Now, I did not put him on dimension. I just put him right straight down, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to glue my little bow in place. You might want to use your tweezers for this, but I'm just going to see how lucky I can be and get him laid down there just like that. And then let's put some bling on. Now, you can decorate your wreath any old way you want. I just thought this sticky back bling is perfect for this little guy. So I just kind of went one to the top. Stuck that. Now, you can decorate your wreath any old way you see fit. I'm going to use some sticky back bling to give us a really blingy looking wreath here on our door. So it'll kind of look like it's lit. You could really go crazy with the bling. Really could. I could too. I think I'll put one in the middle of the wreath too, just because I have an extra one and it'll be cute. I mean, in the middle of the bow will be cute to kind of round it all out. Now for the doorknob. It is this little brad, okay? I'm going to do the same thing I did with the sign and use this little tool to pierce a hole here for my doorknob to go. Just start the hole and then pick this guy up and press this through. And that will give me a hole for my brad. Now when you put the brad in, don't close it just yet. Here's a tip for you. Go ahead and hang your sign on that little brad, and the brad literally will hold your sign into place. Just kind of get your sign where you want it. Something like that. Flip this guy over and then close your brad, and your sign will stay in place that way. It's really cute. It's actually hanging there that way. So now the little sign's hanging there, but I am going to stick it down. I don't want it to be loose, so I'm just going to go behind it, and I'm going to add a little bit of art glitter glue just to one side. And then basically wherever it lands is where I'm going to put it, because I want the strands, the little strings, to make sense. I made this one a good bit longer, but it's still super cute. All right, now we can put this guy all together. So here's this first backer piece. So we're going to flip this guy over and load him up with some art glitter glue to go down on that piece. And it'll have just a tiny bit of a black edge showing around it. Just like that. Oh, it's so cute. Now we need to work on our card base, and I'm going to show you something I rarely do, but for this one I am. Because of the measurement across here, it's really hard to get that center score line on any of my scoreboards. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring these edges over to each other just like this, press down in the middle, and then take my bone folder and just crease. But I'm holding these edges so that I don't lose my fold, so that it stays lined up like it should. And that's how I'm going to do it, instead of using my scoreboard because of the weird dimensions that we had. All right, so now this guy goes right on here. And if everything works out right, I'll have a tiny little bit of white showing, which is exactly what I was hoping for. So a little more art glitter glue, or you could even use foam tape here and pop it up even more. But at this point, we don't have too much dimension on it, and it really won't be that hard to mail. It should be an easy card to pop in an envelope. And there it is, super cute. Now that is the one with a couple of changes, adding that black matte, making the red a little smaller, doing some distressing, and this is the one I did the first time. So there are some differences. I can tell this one does look a little more antique. I think they're really cute though, and my sign is hanging longer here. But tell me which one you prefer, or maybe you just love them both. You can let me know in the comments below. I think this is super cute. Now if you recreate one of these doors using our Stitch Shape stamp set, say that 3 times fast, head over to our Maymay Made It and So Did I Facebook group and share pictures with us. We would love to see it. Hey, thanks so much for watching today, guys. Another Christmas in July video. I'll see you again on Friday for our last one. It's kind of sad. It's gone by so fast, but it'll be super fun. Can't wait to see it. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.